Roderick Porter. Let's do this, gamers. Alright, so I'm currently drawing in MS Paint as we are talking, so... Alright, so, Roderick, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, you're welcome. So as you can tell, we're a very professional establishment. We've been doing this for many, many moons. So,
I can tell the production quality is insane.
yeah, we're very good with time management. So, I got a couple base questions I want to ask you. I actually was gonna write down a bunch of questions, then decided.
But you forgot.
No, I didn't even forget. I just decided not to. I felt like it would be more natural if I just asked you questions as I was going. It's kind of how I live life, I guess. I don't know. So there are, I listened to your music for about, I don't know, when did it come out? Where is it? When did I Didn't Realize come out?
Like 3 months ago, maybe?
Yeah,
4?
so I haven't been listening to you for that long, but I do enjoy your music a lot, and as you saw, I bought your merch.
Yeah, thank you so much, by the way.
No problem, no problem. I almost bought the shirt too, but then I realized I need to start saving money. So...
That's alright, I'll take whatever I can get.
Yeah. So there are, I listen to your music a lot, and I was there for your Q&A for the 10K followers.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you some questions that I heard there, even though I know most of the answers. Like, what is some of your big muses through like music, and like what do you want to do with your music career when you get big?
I feel like my expectations are like really high for myself because like I want to be the best artist, not like the best rapper, the best singer, whatever. I want to be like one of the overall greatest, and that's why I spend so much time trying different genres and different styles, because I want to be able to master them all, so I don't have only like one style or one sound to fall back on, because I find a lot of artists right now find a sound that they're good at and they just stick to that, and then when that sound gets boring, they don't have anything else to do. That's all they've learned. So I want to make sure I solidify.
Yeah,
my,
so I am a huge Logic fan, me and Yoda the Gay, and I've been listening to his music for about 2 years now, and I have to say that I've been listening to his music so much that I've kind of started getting like bland. Like it wasn't really the same for me listening to his music. So after I found you from surprisingly a meme page, I have just pretty much been listening to you, Joji, and another band that I don't remember their name. But so yeah, you've pretty much been on the SoundCloud, not SoundCloud, on Spotify rotation for a couple months now.
That's awesome. And I love that you said Joji and me, because Joji's like, I have a Joji poster on my wall. You probably saw on the live stream, but like,
Yep.
I love Joji's music. His like lo-fi sound from his early like Chloe Burbank stuff that's on his SoundCloud like really like shaped the kind of sound that I work with today.
Yeah, I only found Joji because this kid next to me, who I absolutely hate, was listening to him, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm kind of sick of Logic for a little bit, so I might as well find another artist to listen to, and I listened to Joji, and then I checked my phone in Spanish class, not paying attention, and I found you, and now I listen to you, Joji, and other bands.
Okay.
So, Emma, do you have a question? Because
Listen, I just want more pictures of his dog.
Yes.
I take a lot of pictures of my dog too. The
I
demand
know,
is
and
never
I
able to be
constantly ask
met.
you for them.
One of my dogs look like a rat.
Bama does look like a rat.
Yeah, he's a scary dog.
At least yours doesn't look like Max. He looks like a meatloaf with legs with his eyes popping out. I mean, it doesn't get any like.
You guys are mean to your dogs.
No, I
No,
only
I
have
love
one
my
dog
dog.
that's a rat, and the other ones are pretty cool.
Listen, I love on my dog, even though he looks like a hyena that turned into a meatloaf. He was supposed to be tiny, and then, like, okay, so when we bought him when
Story of
we
the
lived in
dog.
South Carolina, yes, story of Maximus Buscemi. So my mom had like a history of like accidentally killing animals. It's a long story. She stepped on one, and then she squished another in the waterbed. There's a whole story about.
Oh my
Oh my
god!
God, what?
Yeah, she. Okay, do I have to tell the story?
Yes, yes, you
Okay.
have to.
Okay. So when we lived in Florida, my mom would get like baby animals, and we had this cat named, I think her name was Lily, and she was just a kitten, and she had went up under my mom's foot, and my mom was facing the sink, and she like went to turn around, and she accidentally stepped on the cat. My mom had a whole breakdown about it.
Did it die instantly?
Yes, no, it didn't die instantly. It
Oh
died later.
God.
It was bad. Listen, I was like in second grade. Then we get to Lola and my mom. We were in my grandma's room and sleeping on her waterbed, and Lola got between my mom and the little, thingy where
Yeah.
it kind of like holds the waterbed thingamabob.
Yeah.
So
the like
then,
seams.
yes, that. And she got squished, and then my mom gave me this book that Mr. Rogers wrote, and it's how to deal with the death of a pet. And I told her it's from when they die of natural causes, not when your mother kills them.
Oh God.
Moving on. So then we get Max when we moved to South Carolina, and he was supposed to be teeny tiny little applehead chihuahua. Cut to about like 7 years later, he's huge. Not like huge, but he's like not skinny and not tiny.
Bigger than a chihuahua is supposed to be.
Yeah, not like a chihuahua supposed to be. I have so many like weird pet stories. Like we were at Dairy Queen one time, and the lady in the back came out and was like, "Does anybody want a free dog?" And my dad thought it was a hot dog, so he was like, "Yeah, sure." And we got a dog.
What?
Yeah. Listen, I told a weird hamster story today, and I like freaked some people out.
Yeah, well, I just drew a photo of a spider holding guns. How
And
many
then-
guns is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Does-
7, 8.
Do the
9,
guns
10,
have
11,
hands
12.
holding guns?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
All right, so Roderick, I listen to your music a lot, as I've stated multiple times, but that's probably gonna get stated a lot here. And a lot of your songs seem to have like a somber, like kind of relaxing tone to it. Is that kind of like is that the genre that you find your favorite, or is that just a genre that you enjoy singing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I feel like it just matches my
Voice.
my voice and my like personality more, because I'm not really a loud or like very energetic person most of the time. I'll have my moments where I'm like I want to just yell on a song, but
Yeah.
most of the time it's like pretty I don't have that much energy to exert. So, and most of my songs, yeah, most of my songs are usually sad, and it's hard to be sad and loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy your song, and I'm a very positive person. Like, I'm always very happy. And my friends make fun of me because they say I have depression because I listen to your music, which is weird. One of the people who I actually didn't allow to come on the podcast, who said he also did not want to, was probably going to mention how all your music's depressing and how he doesn't like that.
Oh yeah, well I just write about my like what I'm going through and my feelings or whatever, and for a long time I was dealing with like actual like not like sad boy shit, like clinical like depression and shit. So I'm okay to answer those questions. Those don't bother me.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't want him to be rude because he's kind of not like a sugar-coated kind of kid.
Fair enough.
So there's a wait, hold on, let me check.
Jake,
something
can
real
I
quick.
say something about the sad boy stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is like just me personally finding it, but most artists like now try and fake having depression, and
Mhm.
like that's like their brand, and it's I hate it because depression shouldn't be glorified because it sucks.
Yeah. No, I
And
know what you.
like
I feel like I don't know. I feel like artists also play into that sometimes too.
yeah,
Like, and I did for a while too. After my early stuff was like doing really well, even when I was like not like I'd start to seek out things that would like fuck me up because I knew that it would result in like a
A
lot of
song.
views, and I realized, yeah, like
Yeah.
it would. So, and I realized that was really self-destructive. So I've been trying to like guide away from that, but it took me a really long time to like
Yeah.
get away from how good like depressing songs actually do.
Yeah. So as you said on the podcast, not the podcast, on the Q&A thing, you
Mm.
mentioned how unlike most rappers, you speak of like the truth about yourself. Like you don't mention how you're in gangs and stuff because you said that you didn't really like you weren't in gangs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like just you being more honest with your music and stuff and not talking all about gangs and stuff probably adds a more natural tone to all your music.
Well,
So,
yeah, that's a. I like I don't like nothing that I rap about. I I don't rap about anything or sing about anything or whatever unless it like happened to me or like
mhm,
has something to do with me. Like, so that's why it's difficult for me to pump out a lot of songs because I need to like go experience something to be able to write about it. I can't
yeah,
just like fabricate something. And I also I, if as long as I stay true to myself, I'm never gonna get like exposed one day for like not being who I really
yeah,
am.
and that's
So I try and
that's
stick to
like a
that.
big thing is if you get exposed for like just like something that
Being fake. Like,
yeah, you don't want to be known as the rapper or the musician who was outed for faking having like ligma or something like that. I don't know.
yeah,
I can
yeah.
think
I
of
know what you mean. I know what you mean though.
yeah. So there's I hear a lot of it in your music. You mentioned like that you smoke like yeah you smoke so
Okay.
yeah
Yeah.
so so how much do you think you spend a week on a month on drugs?
Honestly, not that like I I have like the way that I work is I have a pretty addictive personality, so sometimes I'll spend like it's usually in variations of like 3 to 6 months. Like I do not smoke a lot, and
Nice.
it usually goes like I'll get a zip or like a bag, whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll smoke until it like a lot. Like whenever I'm bored, I'll just smoke, which is an awful habit. And then once it's gone, I don't like need it. Like I'm like too lazy to go get more. Like it's not an issue for me.
Yeah.
So it's very inconsistent. It's not like a weekly this much goes towards illegal
That this much
substances or
goes to
whatever.
that. Yeah. So
It's just a sporadic moment thing.
Emma, do you have anything you want to say? Just want to
um,
not cut out things that you're saying.
I can't think of anything honestly. I mean, besides the whole like sad boy stuff, and then I mean I can't really think of anything. I'm not good at like coming up with stuff on the spot, but like with the whole addictive personality thing, I relate on like a spiritual level. Like I'll do something and
Yeah.
then I'll continuously do it, and then I'll just stop. Like with when I started watching Seven Deadly Sins that you told me about, I watched all of it in all the first season in like a week, and then I started the
Yeah.
second season, and then I just haven't been able to.
Yeah, like I can't watch new shows like ones that release like once a week or whatever because like
Mm-hmm.
I'll like literally wait years for the show to have a couple seasons so I can watch them
Mm-hmm.
all
Me
like
too.
but no, what I wanted to say about the like my old music and transitioning into my new music, I also feel like it's really important that I'm doing a lot of different styles and like forcing kind of like going against the grain of what a lot of my fans want to hear is because I don't want to be stuck in like
A
people only
rut.
wanting to hear sad music when I'm
Mm-hmm.
not like I was thinking about that. I was like what is the point of fixing any of my mental health issues if I don't have any other like I don't have anything else to write. I don't have any other like style to fall back on. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what people want to hear. So why would I like try and better myself? And that was like really toxic. So I'm trying to like do things that I know a lot of my fans probably won't fuck with, and then like market to more fans that might, because I
Yeah.
want to have someone who I want to have fans that will enjoy whatever I put out, even if it's different like subcategories, like how X had like fans that would only listen to his angry stuff and fans that would only listen to his sad stuff.
Yeah.
I want that type of thing where I'm gonna apply to some portion, or if not all, of my fan base with every song. Like a lot of like X has like 6 different subcategories of fan groups where he did like
Mhm.
death metal, and then he did his like electro stuff, and then yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. For some reason, I was never really able to get into like X's music. So like, I don't really like. I understand this like multiple genre things, and I feel like that's like one of the most intelligent things you can do is like branch off into other genres, and like it's just gonna end up being like a very smart thing, not only for you but for like your music and your fans, because that
Because
gives them
like
more of a like chance to hear you out and like hear your
yeah,
music.
like the way I see it is kind of like you listen to Lil Peep or Juice World when you're in like a certain mood. Like you listen to some artists for their like sad music because they make this certain like vibe that you're always going to hear whenever you hear a new song from them. But
Mm-hmm.
if I can do every like emotion well, then they're listening to me no matter what they're feeling, which is like a
Yep.
super sick.
But that's pretty much what I do. I'm walking down the hallway, I'm listening to your music. I'm just it's just I find your music relaxing, and like I don't really have too much stress in life, so I don't really deal with that kind
Can't
of
relate.
Yeah, I kind of just really I don't really care too much about what people say about me or what they act about me, so I kind of just like listen to your music. It just even if I have any like stress, your music helps diffuse that tension.
Well, good. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to find something, but Emma, do you have any more questions or statements or things you would like to ask him?
I mean, I can just tell stupid jokes if that's what needs to be done.
You can
Because
tell
I'm
one
very
stupid joke per
yes.
segment.
Okay, I'm gonna tell him the one that I sent to him in DM. Knock knock.
Who's there?
A little old lady.
A little old lady who.
I didn't know you could yodel.
It took me. I actually like recognize that joke so quick because it doesn't really work as well in text because you have to like say it out loud.
Exactly.
But I still got it like instantly. That one was funny. I told that to a couple other people after you told me that.
I love that joke so much.
Oh yeah, you wanted to ask me about my microphone, eh?
Oh yes. What kind of microphone and like recording equipment do you use? Because when I was younger, I was really into the music business, and that was one of my passions was music and getting like really large into music. But I just quit band at our school for sports, so
Which is lame.
eh.
You know, follow whatever your heart desires. If a lot of people, like, I think that's a thing that happens with a lot of people that message me about music, because I get a lot of people asking me for advice and stuff, and I almost like don't even want to give them advice anymore because it's more helpful for me to say like do it, and if you have enough passion for it, then you're gonna be able to work through whatever like shortcomings you find, but that'll just determine whether it was meant for you or not, and type of thing. But so I have a Rode NT1A for my mic. I did like a lot of research when I was first looking for mics, but that was a while ago. I've had this mic for like 2 years now. And then when I first bought my whole setup, I was still in high school and I was like broke, so I didn't have enough money to buy a USB interface with it. So my uncle, bandmate, had an old USB interface, and he sold it to me for like $50 or something. It's like discontinued. It's so old and like janky, and like sometimes my like you'll randomly hear a whole bunch of white noise in my microphone, and I have to jiggle the like wire around in the in the USB interface, and it like destroys people's ears. Like it's like bass boosted type shit. Like if I move it around, and then I use FL Studios 12 for my like DAW. And then I got some nice speakers, like probably 6 months ago. Some like good studio speakers so I can play stuff out loud because I like to mix stuff on speakers. And headphones, I have Sennheiser DT770s, which are old as hell too. I need to get a new pair because the bass is like busted. It like something like rattles around in the ears if you turn the volume too loud, and it has a lot of bass in it. So it's like really not good to to record with.
Yeah. So, you, how long would you say that you've been in the music business or rap gang? I guess I don't know.
I
Game.
I assume that's what you meant.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't know.
so I started in grade 11, but I didn't really take it like, I think I started taking it seriously the same summer that I dropped Before the Break of Dawn. Like,
Oh, I
I
love
think
that
that was
song.
I think that was summer. I think that was summer of go like before grade 12.
Mhm.
Um, and like my mom would like yell at me every day to like go get a job, and I was like, just give me the summer, mom. And it ended up paying off because that was like a good starting point for my career. But around that time is when I started. I had like a couple songs before that, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until after I dropped out of university, like less than a year ago, like 8 months maybe.
So, through your music and stuff, what would you say the biggest like force is driving you to like become a better artist? Like, is there any artist that you would like to be, or would you like? I what I always think is I would want to be like someone, but I was always want to be better than them, so I don't have to live up to their standards. I can be beyond their standards.
Yeah, exactly. So like my biggest inspiration is Mac Miller by far,
Yep.
and I want to be what he was for a lot of, or at least for me, where like I've the way I thought about it the other day, and it's kind of like I get to say things that other people are like too afraid to say, or like don't know how to say, and like to express themselves.
Yeah.
And Mac Miller was a big one that did that for me. Like a lot of stuff that he said, I was like, wow, he put my feelings into words, and I want to be able to do that for people. And I also want to have mainstream success like he did, but I want to do all those things better.
So,
Because you have to surpass your idols.
oh yeah. So one of the big things like that I find interesting about artists and stuff is like how they are with fans, and as I am very happy that you reply to my stuff that I message you, uh, I find it kind of strange because I follow a bunch of Twitch streamers on Twitch because that's what I live stream on, and I kind of want to get a bigger presence on there, so I want to become friends with some streamers that I find like I enjoy their content and stuff. So like they don't really ever notice. Like I've watched this one streamer for a couple years now, and I think the only time he's ever actually mentioned my name was when I donated him like $1. So I find that since you are a kind of, I wouldn't say smaller like streamer, but since, well, not streamer, musician, that I enjoy your music more because I've had a conversation and stuff with you, it just makes your music feel more important because I mean he cares about his fans, and that's very large, like big to me, because I enjoy it when you feel understood and like you get to actually talk to that artist and learn how he is or like who he is. He's not just a nameless brand.
Yeah. I think that's really important too, and I think that, like you said, that it's not like a nameless brand, that's actually like a person, and you actually enjoy the person behind the music. um Helps like create a like tighter community of people. But that's always just been second nature to me, to make sure that I appreciate the people that go to their way to like comment on my stuff and like my stuff, and feel like I'm important enough that they need to send me messages and things like that. And it kills me a little bit that I've finally gotten to the point where I can't keep up anymore, where I get like too many messages a day to respond to everyone, because it's it's like I try and give one person a message, but then by the time I'll like spend like 3-4 hours going through like 50 whatever messages, 50 100 messages, and then I like go scroll back to the top, and everyone that I messaged is like responding, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
god, I can't have 100 conversations. So same with YouTube comments. Even sometimes I can't get to them all, but
Oh yeah.
I used to, when I had like 400 500 followers, I'd like keep up with all of my like hardcore fans because I only had like 20 at the time.
Yeah.
It's harder nowadays, but I try my best.
One of my, I don't know. I was sitting in Spanish class, listening to your music on the computer on my school account. I actually commented on one of your things, and I was just sitting there, reading my little thing, learned some Spanish, which I know barely any Spanish. I realized that you actually commented on one of my posts that I sent you. I said like, "Oh my gosh, I love this song and stuff." And when you commented on it, I just was like extremely happy about that. I don't know. I just felt like it just was special to me that you actually commented and like replied that you actually cared about like what your fans like. I understand like big rappers and stuff. They care about what their fans think of them, but they don't really like talk to their fans to hear what they want. But
Yeah,
you,
and like
yeah.
it's hard because I feel like at a certain level too, like when I talk to Noah Cyrus, you can tell that she's like been like doing the whole fan thing with like hundreds of thousands of DMs like all the time. So like I'll send her a paragraph, and if she doesn't get to it, she doesn't say like, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get to read that," blah blah blah. She just kind of like leaves me on red and like doesn't think anything of it, and I don't take that as disrespect anymore. I did when I first, because I only had like 1,000 followers, and I was like, what, she doesn't have time to reply to me? But after having so many DMs, and even that being like a 1,000th whatever percentage.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't take offense to that anymore.
Man, when I messaged you for the first
Oh my
time,
God, Jake.
I was so. Oh, what's up, Jacob? You're just gonna come in here and say, "Oh my gosh," what?
You don't let anybody else talk.
What? I'm making
I'm
forth
gonna-
an effort here. I'm making forth an effort. That's all that matters.
Okay,
Sorry that I'm
so
happy
now I'm-
or excited.
Now I'm gonna ask my question because I've been sitting.
I
here
didn't
for the
even
last
know you were
10 minutes.
here. I thought you left to go eat dinner. What?
Anyways, so
Did you know he was here?
Thank-
Any of you?
Nah, he was chilling in the back.
okay, so staying on the topic of you being small, every artist has a milestone, but
Mm.
I was kind of wondering if you had any major milestones that you've hit and you recognize.
Yeah, so the biggest one was 10,000 followers. That was a big one. Getting recognized by X was a big one. No, getting recognized by Noah Cyrus was a big one. But like, I just thought it was crazy because at the beginning, going into 2018, I wrote out like a list of goals that I wanted to achieve by the end of the year, and the most unachievable one was getting 10,000 followers. I had like 900 or 800 followers at the time, and it was like getting 1 follower a day was like, fuck you. I was like so happy. So and even up until like 1 month before the year ended, I was still like not even close, and then all of a sudden things started like blowing up and I reached it. So I felt like that made me believe in like, I know people who say it sound crazy, but like speaking things into existence, or like kind of like if you believe in something hard enough,
It'll
that
happen.
yeah, it'll, because, and I see that in a way that it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if you say it out loud enough, you feel like you're obligated to like work as hard as possible to achieve whatever you've been telling yourself. So I'm gonna try that again this year with 500,000 followers and see how well it goes.
I
I'm sure it'll
personally have been trying to get as many people to listen to your music as possible, and
Well, thank you.
I'm one of. I enjoy your music a lot. So, Jacob, do you got any more questions before you cry? Because apparently I'm not giving you enough time.
I mean, you're just fanboying, so.
Alright, listen here. Shut up. Continue, Jacob, if you have anything.
Like, you don't have to be rude.
What? Wah. Continue. Go.
Hey, leave
Talk.
him alone.
Emma, no. Jacob can talk. I don't know. You complained about me talking
I'm
too
fine.
much.
Oh, you do talk a lot.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is about Roderick, not me.
Okay,
I feel like
can I
mom
say
and dad
my
are fighting
business
it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so with the whole like noticing your fans thing, I think it's really cool because being as a teenage girl, I have followed many of boy bands, and I've just noticed, like, as people have gotten bigger, they don't really, like, care about their fans as much. They say they do, but you can just tell they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like really cool about your fans, which is a good thing. I don't like know how to like put it into words, but like you just with even with like how you were talking about how you have like a bunch of people DMing you a day, you're like not complaining about it at all. Which
No,
is really
I
cool.
honestly, I feel bad that I can't get to everybody. It sucks and then because I can't get to everybody, I like, it's, I don't want to answer anybody because I get like, I don't want to pick favorites, but I know that I have to. So sometimes I'll sit down for like 6, 7 hours and just reply to as many people and like have a conversation with them, or at least like respond to whatever they're telling me. And I try really hard to do that.
So, how many naps do you think you take a day?
Oh, that's a nice question.
This is character defining, like the asking
Yeah, I
questions about
mean-
naps.
Well,
This really tells who he is.
I've been I only took a nap today because I didn't sleep much last night. Usually I don't take that many naps. It's like if my sleep schedule is good, I'm not like tired during the day as long as I get my 8 hours, but a lot of the time I'm like up really late and then have to wake up early again. But it's a bad habit because then you're wasting time.
Yeah.
Because if you sleep like 6 hours and then take a 4 hour nap, that's 2 hours that you could have been awake doing something productive.
Yeah. So, is there so other than music, do you have any other hobbies like video games? I know you said that you play some video games. Do you play anything like? Well, I mean, not do you play? Do you do anything like? Did you used to do sports or?
Through my like childhood or like my younger years, I played a lot of sports. Like when I was really young, I played a little bit of baseball and a little bit of soccer. I played hockey for probably a good decade or so.
Because you're Canadian.
Yeah, of course. That's the staple sport. But most of it was like video games. Like I played a lot of League of Legends, CS:GO, World of Warcraft, Maple Story, RuneScape, Minecraft, blah blah blah, like a million different games.
This is an
and
aggressive mercy.
And I got to a pretty like significant level in all of them. Like I got to the top like 1 percentile. Like I'd get like diamond in League of Legends or like supreme in Disco. I don't know if these ranks mean anything. Or I think the highest I got was Overwatch. I was like in season 1. I think I was in the maybe like top 2,000 or something because I played from beta, so I was like pretty good at the start. But then everyone's skill level caught up, so I don't know. I don't really do much these days because whenever I play a game, I want to be really, really good at it, and I don't have the time to put in because I'd rather be spending that working on music. So it's like I can't play them at all because I can't handle not trying my hardest. So I've just been trying to find like Netflix series or something. Yeah. Well, like anything that's like not gonna like activate like the competitive spirit inside me.
So, is there anything that like you regret about your music career that you have right now, or would you say it's pretty much like how you were hoping?
Oh, that's a good question. I have to, hold on.
Yeah, all my questions have been good. It's just that's the most noticeable one.
I'd say otherwise.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think the biggest mistake that I made was after Before the Break of Dawn did really well, and I think it was an important learning lesson for me, is that I tried to like stay on that trend. Like I tried to like do the same thing, and it was just like terrible like copies of what I did, and that was like an important lesson that you can't like chase getting a hit song. You need to just like whatever you think sounds good, focus on that because it's about the music primarily more than trying to get the views or expecting how well you do. It's better to worry about that stuff after the song's done.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest mistake because I feel like that right after that song started to blow up, the next like 5 or 6 songs I felt like were really, really, really subpar. And then I finally like realized that and got back onto what I was doing.
So, how long do you think it normally takes for you to record, edit, and like mix or do whatever with songs? How long would you say it would normally take? Yeah.
I remember I did one song all in one sitting. I forget what song it was, but it was I was in the studio for 20 hours
Oh
from like
man.
start to finish. Like I wrote it and then recorded it and mixed it and mastered it and like had it all finished in one day because I just like really wanted to finish it. Um, but like it's gotten faster because I've done it so many times that I can kind of just go in there and fuck around for like I feel like I could get a song start to finish done in maybe like 4 or 5 hours now.
Yeah. What's your favorite like type of
Oh,
music? Would you say personally?
Right now, it's like really like loud 808 stuff, like no meme, like Lil Pump or like Made in Tokyo or
Of
Ski
course,
Mask
of
or
course.
Maybe
Fuck.
No Money or
Sick.
like because I feel like what happened was I used to be really only into like lyrical like boom bap like old 90s or like J. Cole or people that like
Like Logic.
spend yeah exactly. I used to listen to a lot of Logic when he like was doing the Young Sinatra stuff very early on his but the fan base that kind of follows that and how they're like, this is real music, this is what real rap should be, all these mumble rappers suck, it kind of like turned me off because I didn't want to be associated with like these elitist complexes that feel like they need to be
Yeah.
better than someone. So like in turn of that, I've gotten more used to listening to stuff that like just like if you're drunk or something you could like jump around to.
Yeah.
I like that type of music right now.
Jacob, I heard you mumbling after I asked that last question. What do you want to say?
Uh,
Oh,
oh, I was not paying attention.
oh, you just
Gentry.
messaged me complaining. So yeah, that's why
I
you
wasn't
weren't paying
complaining.
attention. You were complaining that I don't give you enough time to talk. All right, talk,
I didn't
talk,
complain.
talk.
I was criticizing you. not
Yes,
complaining.
you do that a lot. Continue.
Okay, so I've seen a common trend in artists that they tend to make a lot of different songs, maybe albums, they compose them, but they don't release a lot of the music. Do you happen to do that at all?
Like make songs that I don't release.
Uh, yeah, or save till a later date.
Um, yeah, like my newest song, "Cry for Me," I wrote that like months ago, and I didn't like it enough to release it, and I sent it to my friend, and he like slowed it down to, like a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is not that bad. But yeah, I only have like I think like 25 songs on my SoundCloud, and that's like where all my music is, and I've written probably close to 100 like complete songs, and then however many more 100 random note files I have of stuff that I've never finished. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that people don't realize that goes into like
Hmm.
making a good song. They don't see how they think like, oh, this person, every song they make is good. It's like, no, I just don't show you the best.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Logic, back on him. Yeah, with that music thing, in a lot of Logic's albums, he mentions how he has songs that he's not releasing yet, but he's going to. I
Mhm.
feel more or less that if you're gonna make a song and you're gonna release it, you shouldn't mention it because that's just like a cock tease to your fans.
But I think and I've been thinking about that a lot too with how I do my like snippets and stuff, is that it kind of gets them excited, and like I've been trying to experiment with that on like how far ahead I should do that, or if I should wait until the song comes out, because like I've started to make edits for all my song releases, and for this new one that I'm gonna do, I feel like I should wait until the song's out and then kind of every couple days put out a new one to kind of remind people if they haven't heard it or if they like kind of
Yeah.
forgot about it to go back and listen to it again. So I understand why they do it, because it just kind of keeps them, it kind of keeps that artist's name in the back of people's head, like, oh, he has songs ready to drop. When's that gonna happen?
Yes, that's understandable. Yes. So, since I am forced to now wait a couple seconds to let everybody, comprehend what you said,
Okay there?
okay, so So, as you mentioned, you went through many mental health issues. Well, not many. You went through a couple mental health issues and stuff. Is there anything that, like, I know I'm not a big platform, but it's still always good to address mental health and stuff. What's your
Mental health needs to be addressed all the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
When you're in a comedy skit, I don't really think that's probably the best.
No,
time
but
to
you
do
know
it.
what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Like it's not.
When you're in the middle of
like-
a church service, I don't think that's something you should mention.
Okay, you know what I mean, because
somebody's,
most people, like, people take mental health in the wrong way. Like, they glorify some issues, and then if you, like, we were talking about abortion and all that, and, like, how if people have mental health, this was in Walker's class, and how
Yeah.
if the
Political.
mother has mental health issues, and the child should be taken, and I don't think that it should be that extreme. I think that people should be made more aware about problems, and because some people don't know what's going on with them because they don't have, like, I go to a therapist and I didn't even know we had one near us or even at the school until I had a complete full-on, like,
Shebang.
basically.
Yeah.
And, like, that crap is
Yeah, well, that was a big thing with my music really early on, and Before the Break of Dawn kind of like broke that barrier for me, because I always had those like feelings or like thoughts or whatever, but I was too scared to say anything because I felt like people are gonna look at me weird or like think I'm mentally unstable or some shit.
Yeah.
And then putting out those types of songs and seeing how I like became a voice for a lot of people that felt the same way, like they were too scared to say those things, became kind of my like goal with a lot of my music, is to say stuff that people are too scared to say out loud because it's such a taboo topic, and I feel like it shouldn't be.
Yeah, and do you find recording your songs is more of a place to let it all out?
It is,
now?
yeah. Like, it's such a fucking amazing feeling because the way for a while that it was is I'd feel really shitty, but I wouldn't know. It was kind of just like a void of like thoughts that I couldn't really like articulate well. So I'd sit on it for a couple days and feel shitty, and then when I was able to like sit down and kind of like pull that apart, like everything that I was thinking about, and write it in lines and kind of like lay it all out so I can like look back at it, and it kind of it's therapeutic. Like it feels like you like solve the problem, or you like solve the equation. You don't have to like let it linger anymore, because it feels like the way I explained it, I think on the stream, was that it's kind of like taking whatever emotion I had and like putting it in a bottle for like other people to see. It doesn't burden me anymore, which is nice.
Yeah. So, do you think in all of your songs you really talk about like how you feel, or do some songs you just use as like this? Wait, that was not a formulated question yet. I'll get back to you on that. Jacob, talk about something.
Wait, no, I know what you meant by that. Like, I think like some songs aren't like, super deep or like super emotional, but I feel like even songs like Wrong One, which seems pretty like surface level, like I wrote that after doing a show in a town that's like a couple hours away from me, because I played I Got the Juice, and people were like mosh pitting and like tearing the speaker off the hinges, that like going crazy, like running into each other, and I was like, I want something that is going to like make them go even crazier. So I went home and wrote that. And I also feel like it's important that I do that because music nowadays is more of like a mass consumption sort of thing. Like people want more quantity over quality. As much as they say that they don't, people would rather have a song every 2 weeks than they would every 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to continue to do different styles that I enjoy, like the Wrong One, or the like the aggressive kind of like mosh pit style, and then also like once I get good at all these styles, I can just kind of rotate them or like keep on adding more, and it just allows me a lot more outlets.
Ow. So yeah, that's basically exactly what I was gonna say. Just I didn't really formulate.
I got you.
Yeah, you understand my
Your brain.
Yep. Jacob?
He can't even think of the word brain. Poor man.
Listen here, you have Yoda as your profile picture. Stop it.
What's
So
Stop.
wrong
did
with that?
you.
I don't have
He
Yoda.
was
as
just
my-
upside down.
It was actually Yoda mixed with Shrek, so much more intellectual. So, so Mr. Yoda the gay, you got anything?
You're gay.
All right,
Oh.
Emma, know you.
Do I
and,
get to tell another joke now?
You get to say whatever you want,
Yes.
as long as
Okay.
it's not racist.
As
It's.
long as it's not Jake talking.
I am not racist. Thank you. Okay. So, why do cows have hooves?
Why?
Because they lack toes.
Okay, I like that one too.
My head hurts now.
Gentry, I will fight you.
You
So-
just dropped a last name.
So, do you watch any like YouTubers, like YouTube comedians that like you enjoy a lot? Like,
Yeah, I watch Cody Co and Danny Gonzalez and
Danny DeVito.
no,
I
not
don't
Danny.
think he's a-
Who's the other one? It's Danny Gonzalez, his friend. I have to look it up. Drew Gooden. I watch a little bit of Enya. She used to be a Viner, I think, too. Every once in a while, I'll like check out like Disguised Toast, who played
Oh
Hearthstone.
yeah, I watch him just when I'm bored. Really, that's like a midnight kind of thing.
I play it in the background while I'm doing something else, or like watch along like hour-long VODs or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for
like it.
noise.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable. I do that too. All
I'm
right.
still subscribed to some old RuneScape channels, even though I haven't played RuneScape in years too. For some reason, they're still entertaining.
I have League installed. I booted it up once, and my friend was like, my friend Jared, who is another co-host who talks almost as much as I do on here. He mentioned how if I play that, it's like a void. I'm just gonna fall into and just want to play more until I get so mad at the game that I don't want to play anything ever
Well,
again.
Yeah, I go back to the game every once in a while, but I realize like the winning doesn't make me happy, but losing makes me angry. So it's like it's not worth it.
Yeah. So before. Oh, sorry, Jacob. Go.
No, it's too late now.
No, talk.
I was just gonna ask him what his highest stat was on RuneScape.
Unreal. Oh, it was probably woodcutting for sure. I loved woodcutting. I think I had like 90 woodcutting or like 92 woodcutting. I'd like since I started playing, because I played since like 2006 over the course of like a million different accounts. The only thing I would ever do is woodcutting.
Should have got 99 agility.
Ooh, that's a hard one because that's a lot of clicking.
Yeah, isn't just getting 9 wood just cutting down trees constantly?
Yeah. You just click on a tree and like tab out for 5 minutes.
That is what woodcutting is, Jake.
Yeah.
True. Just... So
I feel like left out because I have no idea what you people are talking about. I don't video game. I can't even play Mario. I lose.
Speaking of that, I wanna
Switch.
play Mario Kart now all of a sudden.
Oh, Mario Kart is the best. I kick tail feather at it.
I've not played that in forever.
Neither have I. I don't think I've played it in.
I steal Presley's Switch all the time to play it.
I don't even know how long it's been. When did the one on the Wii come out?
That's the last one I played too.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I've
that-
slept since then.
Yeah, I think we all have.
I have a feeling
Ooh,
like
I
it
have a
came out
question.
2009.
Oh, Emma's got a question.
Yeah. Okay. What are your top 3 favorite movies that you can never get tired of?
I'm actually not one to watch a movie more than once usually.
What?
Understandable.
But
Oh.
wait, let's check. Let's load up my Netflix real quick and see if there's anything.
Okay.
I know that there's an old movie called The Usual Suspects
Mm-hmm.
that I really enjoy. It's like one of the top movies on IMDb. The only things that I feel like I've watched more than once are like stand-up comedy.
Oh,
John
yeah.
Mulaney.
Yeah, John Mulaney, Chris D'Elia,
Mhm.
Donald Glover, like
Oh
Childish
yeah,
Gambino when he did.
Josh Wolf.
Like,
Uh,
I've never heard of Josh Wolf actually.
yeah, he has one about his son finding his pop brownies. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Nice.
No, but yeah, I think the only movies I've watched more than once. I feel like I'd watch. I want to watch Interstellar again, and The Arrival.
Interstellar is such a good movie.
Yeah, I love
glad
movies
someone agrees.
that like fuck with your head. Like
Like horror movies, psychological horror movies.
I actually only got into horror movies recently, but I just mean things that like you need to like once the movies are over, you just like stare at the screen for like half an hour, like trying to understand what's.
understand.
Watch the Beatles' Yellow Submarine because I'm pretty sure they were high on LSD through that entire animation series.
So,
Look, you can't be high and be on LSD. It's more of tripping.
You can be both.
So I saw in Ghost that you used scenes from Pulp Fiction in it. Did you edit that together? And do you enjoy that movie? Because I've watched it for the first time like a couple months ago and I loved it.
I love every Quentin Tarantino movie I've seen. They're all so good, and he did Pulp Fiction. And
Yes, he did.
I just found a whole bunch of like Instagram clips on like on the explore page, and when I was editing the little edit together that I was putting on Instagram, I was like, might as well do a lyric video because I really like this song, and so I just put them all together in like a longer format and put some lyrics on. But yeah, I
At
do
least
enjoy
when-
that movie.
At least Quentin Tarantino can make movies prettier than his face.
Very rude,
Very
but
ugly, man.
that is true. Very, very rude, but that is true. I do agree with that. So, oh man, before Jacob made that joke, I had a good question thought up. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Nice one, Jake. You're
Emma,
really struggling.
Emma, come up with something so I can remember. So,
I don't know. All I can think of is John Mulaney's kids.
So other than Mac Miller and stuff, are there any other ones that you would say other than probably X, because you mentioned him a lot through most of the stuff you talk about? Not saying that like not being rude, but I'm just saying that you mentioned him a couple times through this. But like, would you say that like there's any other artists that you would strive to be more like?
Kanye is a big one, just because of his like how
Fairness.
like how each album is kind of like an era. Like people talk about like the college dropout era, or the graduation era, or whatever, because his music has been so innovative and so like cutting edge kind of thing. Like it's something that no one's ever heard before whenever he puts out a new project. So I feel like I want to get to that point. But I still feel like I have a ways to go. I feel like I have to get bored of like all the genres that exist before I start like making my own, like Kanye does.
Yeah. So, I know Jacob's gonna get mad at me because I just asked a question. I'm gonna ask another one, but I have this like, I don't know. I would say that just from what I've been following you for the short bit I've been following you, I would say that the biggest song that I've seen while I've been following you was I Didn't Realize. What's your opinion on that song? Like, how do you feel about it?
I like it. I feel like people get the meaning of it skewed,
And
because it's like Cry For Me and I Didn't Realize are basically the same song, like written in two different styles. Like it's basically about a girl that
you can't
caught feelings for me that I cared about, but I didn't have feelings for her. We got into an arrangement where there was supposed to be no feelings, and she caught feelings, and then when I didn't, because I stuck to the deal that we had made,
Yeah.
she like was like fucked up about it. But I guess I wrote it in a way that I didn't realize a lot of people were gonna misinterpret it and like see it as a love song. But that's how it seemed to have turned out. I don't know. It's catchy anyway. I really like the beat. I didn't when it first came out. or when I first recorded it, I didn't think it was that special because I had been on like a binge of writing songs. I wrote like 6 songs in like a week and a half or something, and my friend came over and I was showing them all to him, and I was like, which one do you think I should put out? And he's like, oh, that middle one was like way, like really 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 good. And I was like, really? I didn't notice. And so then I put that out instead because I was gonna put out, after the whole thing with Noah Cyrus happened, I was gonna put out Cry For Me instead, but then I was like, okay, no, my friend said this one is better, so I'll put this one out instead.
What it sounds like to me is you need to get some lyrics on Genius.
Yeah. No, someone showed that to me the other day on like what people are like annotating my lyrics as, and it's like, oh man, I don't even know if I want to go over there and look. A lot of them
Yeah.
are very off.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Jacob.
Okay.
I just said yeah. I didn't say anything past yeah.
I know you.
You're so sensitive. God.
Leave him be.
Now, I'll be honest here. I don't really listen to your music that much.
That's
gone-
fine. That's alright.
I've gone through your Spotify playlist once, and I maybe like half of the songs,
Okay.
but it seems that you have a lot of varying styles, and through those styles, you maybe seem to portray the same message. How do you think that gets across to your fans?
Do you mind elaborating on what you mean by that? Like the same message through different styles?
Okay, so I notice when you sing, it all comes back to I wouldn't say it depressing, but it all seems, like I said earlier, how you're letting your emotions out.
Yeah.
Kind of like how X did through his kind of grunge phase and then more into his emotional phase.
Yeah.
It seems like you're doing that in a way, but if for all your new fans, if they weren't there when you first started doing it on Spotify, how do you think it would get to them now?
See, that's a like you're saying, because my music style has kind of switched up a little bit since then. Is that what you're trying to get at? Or?
Basically.
Yeah. So it was difficult because when I first started music, the only reason I wrote it was a way to get stuff off my chest that like I felt like I needed to tell somebody, but I wasn't comfortable telling another person. So I feel like it's there. But thankfully right now I'm in a better spot mentally, so I haven't had as much of a reason, and that's been a big like exploring process for me to try and like find other ways to write when I don't have anything like stressful or like negative to write about. I want to try and be able to capitalize on like good things that are happening in my life too, so I can kind of recognize them more. So I feel like I'm probably gonna be back at that point at some point, but hopefully it won't be anytime soon or ever. But yeah, it's there for people that need it, and hopefully they enjoy my new stuff too. Hopefully they can come on this journey with me and escape that type of shit.
What is your opinion on like haters and stuff? Like, I read your Instagram thing, but like, what would you say personally that you feel about like people who, even though they don't really know you, they hate on your music without probably listening to it as much as you should when you're gonna hate on someone?
Yeah, the way I see it is that it's fine for people to not like my music. Everyone has their preferences. I just feel like the line gets a little iffy when they're just really disrespectful about it. Like people who heard I didn't realize and said that like I rhymed like the same word 4 times because I'm fucking stupid and I can't think of other words to rhyme. Like, like they're kind of judging a book by its cover, when maybe other artists, when they hear a song like that, they think all their songs are like that because a lot of artists stick to one style. But I have a lot of varying styles, and I feel like people discredit me before they can kind of get a full view. But honestly, people are gonna hate regardless, so it honestly doesn't bother me that much. Whenever I see hate comment, usually I respond with like, I'm sorry you feel that way type thing. But some people are like extra disrespectful. Like the one that I posted on my Instagram story about was like, he commented on my new snippet, which was like there was 149 other comments saying how much they fucking loved it, and then there's this one dude that's like, "What happened to making good music?" And I was like, I don't know if there's I don't know what he thought my good music was. I would actually be curious to ask him, because how I was talking about earlier, like people who discredit like mumble rap or whatever because they don't understand, like they don't understand anything above this, just like the skill of being able to rhyme words. They don't kind of
Yeah.
think about the melody or like the energy of a song type of thing, which is very important. That like it's only a competition to some people. So but I'm curious on what he thinks good music is. Maybe he only likes my sad stuff, or maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. What's your opinion on the people who only hear for your sad music and stuff? Like they only like you for that stuff.
That's what I've been trying to like slowly transition out of, because I want people who, especially since I'm in a better mind state, I feel like it's not good for me to try and cater to those people that because I have to be forcing myself to make music that I don't really want to make anymore, because I don't have those types of emotions, at least at the moment, to express. So yeah, that was a big issue for me when I first started, is that I was trying to like when I was only doing my lo-fi stuff. That was another thing I was trying to get away from, is everyone called me like a lo-fi artist, and I just want to be like I don't want to have any prefix before artist. I just want to be an artist. I don't want to be a lo-fi artist or a lo-fi rapper or whatever. So I try and do as many things that aren't lo-fi to stay away from that label.
Yeah.
I just want to stay out of every box I can. I don't want to be put in a box.
It's time for you to make your own genre.
Mix vaporwave with hardcore death metal.
Metal. Yeah.
No, I'm more of a synthwave type of guy. Nobody makes that music.
You know what? I'll probably do something like that eventually. I want to do like vocals on EDM track, like the ones that are really like choppy and like pitched up and down, and like it's kind of like another instrument. I want to try that.
The only artist I can find close to making that type of music is Childish Gambino.
Because I know that X did it on that one song with Diplo, which kind of like gave me the idea for it. Like, if the biggest thing I can take from him as an artist is the fact that he did so many different styles, because that became like my driving force, and what keeps me interested in is like always learning something new. Like, because every different style, I have to relearn how to mix my vocals. I have to relearn like how to do ad libs, what sounds good, what doesn't. So it's always like I get that like stimulus of like things clicking into place, like figuring out the puzzle type thing.
So, oh wait, Jacob, do you have anything you want to say?
You don't have to ask me every time.
Well, I'm going to. So is there any like, I don't know how to word this. Never mind. Go to someone
You
else.
asked
I'll be back to you as soon as I can.
I might have to peace out in a minute, so.
Yeah, I have
We'll
to go
ask
eat
a
dinner
couple
soon.
more.
Oh, yes, I remember it now since you said piecing out. So how have you enjoyed being on this very interesting podcast?
It was nice. I like like answering questions, but like I've only ever had one person like in my DMs just like ask me a couple questions because I wanted to write a like little segment on me, and I've had a couple of people do like school projects on me, which was really cool. But I don't know. It makes me feel like my opinion is like matters.
Yeah.
So I'll take it where I can get it.
That's good.
Yes, I would. Wait, Jacob, I heard you mention something. So.
No, I just said that's good.
I don't wanna be too oppressive here.
Okay. Well, we at least want to say bye before he has to go.
Well, he said
Or
he's
both
got
of
a
you
little.
have to go.
He's got a little bit. He's got a little bit. He said, Emma, say something.
I'll just tell
Okay,
everybody this
I'll
is
come up with a
awkward.
stupid question. Okay, so
Doesn't have to be stupid.
oh no, like I feel like it's gonna sound stupid, but okay, so if you, oh gosh, I don't know how to word this. Okay, So, what are you gonna like start doing? Because I've noticed like with people like getting bigger, girls tend to throw themselves at them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? How do you deal with that?
That's an interesting
Well,
question.
everything is online right now, so it's hard to kind of like like that's the thing that I've been talking about recently is that because everything's online, I don't get to really see the success that I have. It's just kind of like more like bigger numbers on my accounts and like more comments and more likes and stuff like that. So I don't actually get to like talk in person. Like I've had a couple people like notice me on the street, but like nothing crazy. But I haven't really had to think about that yet.
Oh yeah, now that you mentioned that, I just realized in one of these songs I was listening to that you mentioned just got recognized in the streets. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Wrong one.
after the show. Yeah, that was the wrong one. After I performed, we went to a pizza place across from this bar, and I was with my friend who also makes music, and someone came over and they're like, Roderick Porter? Oh my god, dude, I follow you on Instagram. Like, keep up the good work, bro. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is what a celebrity feels like. It's crazy.
Well, so as you said, you have to leave soon. So I will bid you farewell, and if you ever want to be back on, or if you ever want to bring one of your friends, you're
sure.
welcome to. Just, everybody else say something.
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 Alright, guys. I'll talk to you later. I'll message you and Emma on Instagram from time to time, I'm sure.
I'll give you your
Okay.
daily horrible Valentines. I just gotta go find more.
I'll probably
Everybody
just
say
message
bye.
you saying random stuff. I don't know. I kind of just message people. Send
That's
you a
alright. I
meme.
appreciate it. Alright, guys.
All right. So long.
Everyone
Oh wait,
say
wait.
bye.
One more thing. Can you
Oh, I see
say
how it is.
can you say something to a man named Zane? It doesn't have to be anything discreet. Just make it like kind of like a soft insult if you want to. Mainly
Zane, your haircut is dumb.
Oh yeah,
It
because
is.
he has a
It really
tic-tac
is.
shaped head. There we go.
Alright, guys. Peace out.
All right. See ya. Have a great night.
You as well.
Okay. Everyone say bye.
We all did. He's already
Bye.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say bye.
Alright, well, I'm ending the live stream, so goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
Alright, I'm
And you
not
were all
leaving,
supposed to
I
say
just
bye
ended
at the
it.
same time.
Yeah, well, he left before he had enough time to. I had a lot of fun
No.
with that.
No,